On March 11, 2015, the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee held a 2-hour-long hearing on the Clean Power Plan. This is Natural Gas 102 and a 5-minute recap. Republican Chairman Jim Inhofe, who's a big critic of the plan, used the opportunity to bring in some states who are also against the plan.
The rule forces states to redesign the ways they generate, manage, and use electricity in a manner that satisfies President Obama's extreme climate agenda. Now, to date, we have 32 states who have opposed this rule.
This proposal will cause significant harm to Hoosiers and most residents of the United States without providing any measurable offsetting benefits.
For Wyoming, the proposed goal is problematic and unrealistic to achieve.
First, this single federal regulation will cost Wisconsin ratepayers between $3.1 billion and $13.4 billion. This is only a production cost increase. It does not include necessary upgrades to the gas and electric transmission infrastructure that will add significantly to the cost of compliance.
Barbara Boxer, the top Democrat on the committee, brought in 2 states to defend the EPA.
Climate change deniers in the Senate continue to attack the landmark Clean Air Act. Just last week, our Majority Leader, Senator McConnell, told state governments to ignore the Clean Air Act. Imagine, ignore the law of the land, and one of the most popular legislative actions in our history. So we know we can reduce carbon while growing the economy.
From the perspective of a state, New York, that has already taken action to cut power plant greenhouse gas emissions, I have good news for other states. You can significantly reduce these emissions from the power sector and do so in a way that helps grow your economy.
Californians overwhelmingly support our board's efforts to move California towards cleaner and more efficient sources of energy and to address the grave threat that global warming poses to America and to the world. But the main thing I want to emphasize is that this is happening at the same time that California is prospering. We're growing jobs, we're growing our economy faster than the rest of the country. We have grown our jobs since the carbon market has gone into operation by 3.3%. Personal income and wages are up, again growing at rates well above the national average.
Some Republicans say the EPA is trying to force action that other federal agencies are preventing.
And you mentioned a lack of flexibility from the EPA in giving Wyoming what we would need in terms of to continue to produce a lot of the renewable sources. You mentioned that more than half of the land in Wyoming is federally owned, that this has a significant impact on meeting the mandates coming out of the EPA. Your reference to permits, to the NEPA process, to the ESA requirements, for which Wyoming has absolutely no control, and it doesn't seem the EPA is proposing any sort of relief in plans to address these.
Because the parties see climate change differently, it's very hard to agree on a new climate change action plan.
I think the unifying issue that we can all agree on, Republicans and Democrats, is a more healthy environment. Less particulates, less NOx, less mercury, less SOx, things that make people sick or kill trees and that kind of thing. I think we can do better about that. And in the course of that, I think we'll have a benefit on CO2 emissions probably at the same time. But I am not prepared to press down on the brow of my constituents billions and billions of dollars in cost over the CO2 issue, frankly.
And I'm a big believer in the golden rule, treat other people the way I want to be treated. And the concerns that y'all are laying out here for us today, I think they're important concerns, and we've got to be mindful of them, okay? I get it. EPA needs to be mindful of them as well. But I just want you to know that there are other folks that have been adversely affected by your ability, or the ability of some people in our country to develop cheap electricity, dirty electricity, and we suffer the consequences. I don't like it. We haven't liked it. We tried to go to court to resolve that, and we finally have succeeded in doing that.
No amount of environmental cost would figure into your analysis then.
No, that's not what I said.
That's exactly what you said. I'm just trying to make sure that I understood it properly and want you to explain further.
Environmental rules cannot unduly compromise the reliability, affordability.
No matter how great the environmental costs.
There is a balance that needs to be struck.
Now, how do you strike that balance if you don't know whether climate change is happening and whether human activity plays a huge role in that, and whether the consequences of doing nothing could be dire and expensive.